I was standing in line at Starbucks scrolling through my phone when his text popped up. "I think we should take a break before the wedding." No hi, no explanation, just that. At first, I thought it was a joke. 3 weeks before we were supposed to walk down the aisle, say our vows, and have our families fly in from all over the country. We'd already put down deposits on the venue, the photographer, the catering. My mom had spent 2 months sewing little personalized napkins with our initials on them. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a small-town production. I typed back, "Are you serious right now?" My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped my latte. He replied instantly, "Yeah. I just think we need space. I don't know if I'm ready to make this decision yet." My brain went into full static mode. This was the same man who, 2 weeks ago, was showing me Pinterest boards of honeymoon destinations. The same guy who got teary-eyed when we did our cake tasting because this is all so real now. And suddenly he's unsure? Here's some context. His name is Chris. We met at a 4th of July barbecue 5 years ago. He was wearing an American flag tank top, holding a plate stacked with ribs, and talking about how he'd never settle down. That same night, we ended up sitting on the tailgate of his truck for hours, talking about music, travel, and how neither of us believed in just dating to date. Fast forward, we moved in together after a year, adopted a rescue dog, and started planning the kind of life that people post on Instagram. I thought we were rock solid. Sure, we had normal couple arguments. He's messy with laundry, I'm obsessive about being on time, but nothing that made me think our relationship was in danger. Which is why, standing there with my iced caramel macchiato, I felt like someone had just sucker punched me. I didn't want to make a scene in public, so I just typed back, "Take all the time you need." I figured if he was going to pull this stunt, I wasn't going to beg. But as I hit send, I had no idea that within 24 hours, I'd learn exactly why he wanted that break. And trust me, once I knew, there was no going back. Looking back, the signs were there. It started about a month before that text. Chris began working late more often. At first, I didn't think much of it. He's in sales and end-of-quarter deadlines can be brutal. But then he started coming home smelling faintly of cologne he didn't own. Not my perfume, not his aftershave. Something unfamiliar and expensive. One night, he walked in with his shirt half untucked and this glazed, tired smile. "Rough day," he said, kissing me on the forehead instead of the lips. I remember thinking, okay, weird, but maybe he's just exhausted. Then my best friend, Lena, mentioned she'd seen him downtown, grabbing lunch with a brunette in a tight red dress. "Maybe it's a client?" she offered, but the way she said it told me she didn't believe it either. I shrugged it off. I mean, we were planning a wedding. There's no way he'd risk everything for... What? A fling? Chris wasn't that guy. Or at least, I didn't think so. There were other things, too. He started guarding his phone like it was a winning lottery ticket. He used to leave it on the kitchen counter while he showered, but suddenly it was always in his pocket or face down beside him. I'd hear the little ding of a message, and he'd swipe it open so fast you'd think it was the president calling. One Saturday, we were supposed to go look at wedding bands. 10 minutes before we left, he claimed his boss needed him for an urgent meeting. I ended up going alone, staring at rows of gold and silver while trying to ignore the pit in my stomach. That night, lying in bed, I caught him smiling at his phone. When I asked what was so funny, he said, "Just a meme from Tom." I asked to see it, half joking, and he suddenly remembered he had to be up early and rolled over. It was like living with a stranger who just happened to wear my fiancé's face. By the time his break text came in, maybe I should have been expecting it. But here's the thing. I had no idea the real reason behind it. And the truth? It was a lot messier and a lot more personal than I ever imagined. When I got home that night, Chris was sitting on the couch, TV muted, beer in hand. It was one of those cheap light beers he only drank when he was stressed. His face was pale and his leg was bouncing like he'd had 5 espressos. Hey, I said, tossing my bag onto the chair. So, about your text. He didn't look at me right away. Instead, he took a slow sip and said, Yeah, I think I need about a month to figure things out. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't process what I was hearing. A month? Chris, the wedding's in 3 weeks. What exactly do you need to figure out? He sighed, rubbing his forehead. I don't know if I'm ready for forever. It's a big step. I just need space to be sure. That was the moment something in me snapped. Not the loud, screaming kind of snap, but the quiet, oh, I see exactly what's going on here kind of snap. Space, I repeated, nodding. Right. And during this space, what happens to the wedding? To the guests who've already bought plane tickets? To the thousands we've spent? He shrugged. We can just postpone. If it's meant to be, it'll work out. I stared at him, trying to decide if he actually believed the words coming out of his mouth or if he thought I was stupid enough to buy them. Okay, I said finally, my voice steady. Take all the time you need. He blinked, clearly not expecting me to agree so easily. Really? Really. Go ahead. Figure things out. I smiled, a calm, collected smile that I knew would make him nervous. Inside, though, my chest felt like it was caving in. My hands were shaking so badly I had to shove them into my pockets. But if Chris thought he was going to put me on hold like some customer service line while he played Bachelor again, he had another thing coming. That night, while he showered, I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. I didn't have a full plan yet, but one thing was certain. If he wanted space, I was about to give him enough rope to hang himself. And within 24 hours, I'd have all the proof I needed. The next morning, Chris left for work extra early. I watched from the bedroom window as he got into his truck, phone already pressed to his ear, smiling like a teenager sneaking out to a party. As soon as he was out of sight, I called Lena. I need your help, I said. Chris wants a break before the wedding, and I think I know why. Her response was immediate. I'm in. What's the plan? We started simple, checking social media. Chris barely posted on his own, but his friends did. By noon, Lena sent me a screenshot from Instagram, a photo of him at a brunch spot downtown, sitting across from the same brunette she'd seen before. The caption from his buddy read, "Double date vibes." The brunette's hand was resting on his arm. My stomach flipped, but I forced myself to stay calm. This was good. It was proof. Next, I went through our shared calendar app. He'd blocked off the next 3 weekends with vague entries like personal day and event. I cross-referenced them with his credit card transactions. Yeah, I had the login. And surprise, surprise, dinner at a fancy Italian place last Friday, a boutique hotel charge the Saturday after. I was building a picture in my head, and it wasn't pretty, but the real jackpot came from an unlikely source, his own mom. Chris's mom and I had always gotten along, and she called that afternoon to check in about wedding seating arrangements. I decided to test the waters. So, Chris is taking a little space, I said lightly. There was a pause. Then she sighed. Oh, honey, I was afraid of this. He told me he wanted to talk to his ex before settling down. I told him it was a terrible idea. I froze. His ex? Yeah, Stephanie. He said he needed closure. I thought you knew. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear her. Stephanie. The girl he dated before me. The one who cheated on him twice and left him for a guy in another state. The one he swore he'd never speak to again. I thanked her, hung up, and just sat there staring at the wall. Now I understood the month. It wasn't about space. It was about seeing if the grass was greener on the other side, while keeping me on standby, just in case. Too bad for him, I had no interest in being anyone's plan B. By the time Chris got home that night, I was ready. I'd spent the afternoon turning my quiet rage into a to-do list. First, I called the venue and explained that the wedding was postponed indefinitely due to irreconcilable issues. They couldn't refund all the money, but they agreed to credit part of it for future use, under my name only. Next, I emailed every single guest on our list with a short, polite note. Due to recent events, the wedding is canceled. I apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your understanding. If you'd like details, please reach out directly. And oh, they did reach out. My phone buzzed nonstop with cousins, college friends, and even his own groomsmen asking, "What happened?" I didn't spill everything. Yet. But I gave them enough. Chris needs to decide between me and his ex. I decided not to wait. Then came the pièce de résistance. I updated my relationship status on Facebook to single and posted a photo of me and Lena at a rooftop bar, glasses raised, captioned, "Here's to dodging bullets." By the time Chris walked through the door, his phone was already blowing up. He dropped his keys and glared at me. "What the hell, Ava? You made me look like a complete jerk to everyone we know." I raised an eyebrow. "I didn't make you look like anything, Chris. You did that yourself." He tried to backpedal. I just needed time to clear my head. Steph reached out and you thought it'd be smart to put me on ice while you played what if with your ex. I cut in. Do you hear how pathetic that sounds? His face went red. I wasn't going to cheat. I just needed closure. I laughed, cold and sharp. You booked a hotel with her, Chris. That's not closure. That's a reunion tour no one asked for. He started pacing, muttering about ruined reputations and overreactions, but I'd tuned him out. My phone pinged with a text from his mom. "Proud of you for standing your ground. You deserve better." That was the final confirmation I needed. This wasn't just my gut talking. Everyone could see what he was. By midnight, half of his friends had unfollowed him, and the other half were posting memes about downgrades. His grand month to decide had turned into less than 24 hours before the decision was made for him. And spoiler, he didn't like the answer. 2 days later, Chris showed up at my apartment unannounced. I'd moved in with Lena for the time being. No way was I staying in the same place as him. He was holding a bouquet of grocery store roses, the kind that come in plastic wrap, and wearing that guilty half smile he used whenever he wanted to charm his way out of trouble. "Ava, can we talk?" he asked, shifting his weight like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I crossed my arms. "We already did, remember? You needed space." He sighed, setting the flowers on the coffee table. I messed up. I thought I needed to see Stephanie to be sure about us, but when I was with her, all I could think about was you. It was a mistake. I want to fix this. I almost laughed. Fix this? Chris, you don't get to put me on pause like a Netflix show and then just hit play when you're bored. He stepped closer. Come on, Ava. We've been through so much. We can get past this. Let's just pick a new date for the wedding. That's when I realized he truly didn't get it. This wasn't about a single mistake. It was about the fact that when things got serious, he went looking for an exit instead of holding the line. No, I said simply. I'm not marrying someone who needs a trial run with his ex before he commits. That's not love, Chris. That's cowardice. His face hardened. You're really going to throw all of this away? I smiled. You already did. I walked him to the door, handed him the bouquet, and shut it behind him before he could say another word. That night, Lena and I sat on her couch eating ice cream straight from the carton. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said, surprising myself. I'm better than okay. I dodged a lifetime of wondering if my husband was still comparing me to someone else. And honestly, it felt like freedom. So here's my question to you, Reddit. If your fiancé asked for a month to decide right before the wedding, would you give them that time? Or would you walk away like I did?